What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a great day. I wanted to do a trade breakdown on the three trades we ended up taking this morning on NQ, two having been break even and one having been caught for around 75 points or 1 to 3.1 R. We are going to cover our pre-market analysis going into market open, the differences between our first trade idea and our last trade idea, and finally how we can further look to improve. Please disregard my horribly messy bed and Pikachu and the Amazon packages and my MacBook and my pillows with no pillow cover in the background. Oh my goodness. Don't know why that, don't know what's happening in the background. But anyways, first and foremost, let's showcase executions and then we will talk about news data. Why did I say it like that? News data. Okay. Fortunately, throughout this majority of the trading day, this was for the first trade idea, ended up taking screenshots, mapping out my entire thought process, so we will also be covering that as well. Both executions for the break-even trades are right here. Now, going to Forex Factory, today we ended up having employment cost at 8:30 a.m. and later we do have FOMC. So back onto the chart, what were we looking at when approaching market open? So if we go to our screenshots on Discord, just skip through some of it a little bit so you guys can begin to get an understanding of my thought process having gone into market open. I was originally looking to short toward internal range liquidity for then a potential long to the upside. I was overall bullish on the trading day, wanted to potentially see this sequential SMT with YM get taken out, before then continuing a little bit higher, creating a new open, low, high, close. I'm going to skim through some of these images right here. This was the lower 1 minute time frame. Going into market open, we immediately started dumping, took out internal range liquidity, for later, after our first trade idea, then taking out previous day low. That's also the reason why I have not mentioned previous day low up to this point. I was not looking to see it get taken out. Why wasn't I looking to see it get taken out? Because if you guys had watched yesterday's trade recap, how I mentioned, I wanted to see low of the week potentially get created with this sequential SMT between Monday and Tuesday, forming a higher time frame open, low, high, close on the weekly. However, we ended up running out that previous day low. But originally, when approaching market open, I was not looking to see that previous day low get taken, so all I was anticipating was internal range liquidity. We anchored our standard deviation leg from the high of the manipulation leg that happened during London session. Whoa, this is during London session. Whoa, pre New York, like 5 minutes before New York. Might as well call it like New York Open, not New York session open. Wait, not NYSE open. Not, that's 9:30. New York session's 8:30. Anyways, anchored our standard deviation leg from the break of structure, mapped out our potential levels we were looking to execute off of. I don't know why I said levels. I don't use levels. PD arrays, sorry. We had this higher time frame, I'm pretty sure hourly rejection block. Yep, hourly rejection block. Someone's calling me, bro. My phone, D&D, bro. Well, I guess they left a voicemail. Anyways, we ended up forming a clear power of 3, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. However, now you may ask the question, okay, well, we had a lower time frame power of 3 right here. Why did you end up taking this opposing lower time frame power of 3 to the overall higher time frame power of 3? What I was looking to see happen was an AMDX. So, having gone into this third quarter, I was looking for the microcycles to align with that X, having either been a continuation or reversal. I was looking to take the reversal back higher. That is why I ended up taking the opposing lower time frame power of 3. Now, did this end up happening? Yes. However, the overall higher time frame power of 3, of course, held the power, continuing to the downside later before then reversing back to the upside. Once price action ended up tagging into the negative 2 standard deviation range. That is also when I was looking to see price reverse within this higher time frame rejection block. Our execution didn't immediately get filled, price displaced to the upside for a bit, and then later give us our retracement into the CE of the inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute time frame. There was no 30-second execution today with this specific entry. The next two executions were on the 30-second chart. We also ended up forming a microcycle sequential SMT, which was additional confluence for us to trail our SL here eventually once we ended up taking out 730 open. Our original trade idea was not 6RR. I just adjusted the SL during the trade. The trail, I was looking to see this high get taken with YM. I was looking to see that sequential SMT invalidated, so that was a high I was looking to see get taken. However, YM continued just to displace and run to the upside, so there still would have been a SMT regardless. However, that was my target. RR was around 3.75, 120 points, 125 points, give or take the entry a little bit. Ended up adjusting my stops, like I said, 1730, Q2 true open, ended up getting hit. While this trade continued to develop, I ended up adjusting my take profit and adjusted it toward this most recent high. Now the risk reward was only then 1 to 2.5R or around 74 points, but given that we had FOMC, I was not trying to sit in a long consolidation all day. So of course, then having a major news data event release, I knew price action had the potential to just sit and consolidate for a bit before then distributing later. After that, price action ended up retracing back to the downside, stopping us out. The reason why I ended up adjusting my stop loss from the low of the microcycle sequential SMT to break even as a whole was because I realized, hey, if we retrace back down at this low, we have more than enough potential to showcase invalidation of this microcycle sequential SMT, continuing this higher time frame power of 3, which that's exactly what we ended up doing. Going into Q4, this was when we were looking to see looking to see price align with time based upon the AMDX. Now, before I get into price aligning with time, why did I end up staying on the chart longer than I usually do? I usually get off the chart around 10:30. I'm completely off, no longer even wanting to look at the charts for the rest of the trading day. However, the reason why I continue to stay on was because of exactly what I just mentioned, price aligning with time. Now, what do I mean by this? I mentioned the AMDX prior to this. We were currently within the X phase. We began to start the X phase, either the continuation or the reversal phase. However, that is the time aspect. The price aspect was the fact that we had just taken out previous day low. The previous day low that I did not want to see get taken out, we ended up taking out. Those two then forming a daily sequential SMT is what gave me the confluence, what began to give me the confluence that, hey, we still have potential to continue toward that upside, creating that open low high close, or at least creating that open low high-ish, not really a high, but high-ish close. The main point was we still have an opportunity to take out internal range liquidity. So upon this second idea, I already mentioned the confluences we had with the time aspect and the higher time frame price action aspect. We were still within this hourly rejection block. You could still take into consideration we were within the first reversal of the standard deviation range. What we ended up forming on the lower time frame was a 1 minute order block that I was looking to see get respected, continuing back toward the upside. Price action tagged us in, continued to the upside just a little. Once we had this retracement for this opposing 1 minute order block, 1 minute change of state of delivery, that is when I set my SLI break even, risk free. Price action ended up then reversing, stopping me out at break even again. For those who do not know, my max trades on the day is 3. I sit between a medium to high strike rate. I'd really like to say medium. because of the filtering I do when looking to take trade setups. So after this, I was intending on getting off the chart, just like, hey, 2 break evens for the day. Maybe that's a sign from price action to just get off, take it easy for the rest of the day. However, I was still adamant on the fact that, hey, we took out previous day low and we were still within that X range. Now, during this point, I don't want any of you to think, oh, revenge trading or chasing trades. Not at all. I was simply looking to see, hey, what confluences do we have aligned? I really do still think we're going to be bullish, even though we have FOMC later today, which could mean lower volatility toward our drawn liquidity. However, I was very, very adamant on being bullish solely because of how, in this exact moment, price was aligning with time. So what ended up happening later, price action then formed a change in state of delivery back to the upside, having retraced for a higher time frame PD array as well. I don't know what it was. I think it was an order block. I'm not quite sure. I remember why, because I didn't end up marking out. Someone mentioned it in the Discord, but that is what ended up happening. Once I seen that change in state of delivery, that was my last execution on the day. This was a change in state of delivery on the 30-second time frame. Still pretty obvious on the 1 minute. Executed with a limit order, got filled, tagged back into that order block or change state delivery entry, whatever you want to call it, before then displacing higher toward near low-hanging fruit. Now, you could deem this as low-hanging fruit, but I would really deem this as low-hanging fruit. I mean, that's still low-hanging fruit. But internal range liquidity, the reason why I had the little I here for the objective, besides trying to, fit into all the TikTok traders, no, in all seriousness, was because we had equal highs right here. So that was my objective. I was looking to see get taken. Price action ended up taking that out clearly, as you guys can see within the trade recap I'm making. Before then later doing whatever it's doing right now until FOMC. Anyways, that is today's 3 trade breakdown, trade recap, call it whatever you want. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, I guess. And if you didn't, dislike. Or if you liked, dislike. And if you didn't like it, like. Yeah, feel free to join the Discord or don't join the Discord. I accidentally switched charts to ES. Oops. I don't really care. Anyways, love you guys. Have an awesome day and happy learning. Wait, did I mention what we could do to improve? Continue to react to price action. There you go. That's what we can do to improve. Anyways, I gotta journal these trades. Peace and have a nice day.